Skyrim is one of those games where you can put hours and hours into it and still feel like you have so much left to do. Its amazing landscapes and rich environment make for a great playground. Add to that hundreds of side quests, great storyline, humanized characters, and factions, clans like the Dark Brotherhood, and you have Skyrim. So what is the basic plotline here? And why did I pick this game? Skyrim is all about playing as the Dragonborn, a legendary dragon slayer who's trying to save the world from Alduin, who is the dragon who's bringing all the other dragons back to life. This game, however, has hundreds of side quests, which sometimes can be better than the story itself, and this is what will keep you in the game for hours on end. The reason I picked this game is because it takes place in a fantasy medieval setting, which makes the way that all the people are portrayed rather interesting, and that's what we're going to take a look at in this review. We're going to take a look at this game from a different perspective. This game is 5 years old and already has plenty of reviews, so in this review we'll be focusing on how males and females are portrayed through the Herd Men theory, how Khajiits are treated, and in the end we'll be talking about why people are categorized in games from a general point of view. So first and foremost, when it comes to the two genders and how they are portrayed in this game, it's very obvious that the game has a medieval setting. Women have very little status and are generally the ones cooking, working in stalls, out on the market, or taking care of the kids. Now in this game there are some exceptions, and I believe the developers created them on purpose for us to have some variety in women, so that if you'd like to play as a woman, you don't feel like the only one who is a badass killing machine saving the world, but that there are more like you, who feel that like the way men see you isn't always the way it has to be.
Want to hear a little Nord wisdom? You don't really know a woman till you've had a strong drink and a fist fight with her. The heat of the battle is the fire that forges the strongest blades. It's an old Nord proverb. That, and a true Nord never misses a chance to test her worth.
Are you married? You look the type. Make sure you treat your wife with the respect she deserves.
According to Herdman's theory, gender is something that grows on us, depending on what you were born as. And in this game, it is very true to that theory, since there are several quotes, such as, "I just want my baby girl to grow up just like me, being able to cook and take care for her husband." Women are rarely treated with respect, for example in the way of how men can treat women when it comes to relations.
Life's hard enough with all these men propositioning me, but that bard is the worst. That bard Mikhail is begging for a dagger up against his throat, the way he goes on about me. I heard him boasting at the Bannered Mare, saying he'll conquer me as a true Nord conquers any harsh beast. Huh. If you want to try, go right ahead. I don't think anything will get through that thick skull of his, though. You've got no idea. Half the men in Whiterun have proposed to me. Some were even single.
This is actually something you can ask Mikhail about since it's a side quest, and his reply is quite interesting.
Yes? Carlotta put you up to this, didn't she? I'm sorry, but that fiery widow is mine. She just doesn't know it yet. Maybe you're right. I guess I just didn't want anyone to think I couldn't handle one lass. On my honor, I won't bother Carlotta ever again. I'd better get going.
I just didn't want anyone to think I couldn't handle one lass. This line is quite important to the theory, since the reason he treats her the way he does is because he doesn't want other men thinking he's weak or unable to get the women he wants. Just as women are portrayed to be housewives, men are said to be warriors, armorsmiths, or perhaps even kings. So as stated earlier, the Herdman theory is very true when it comes to this game, as the theory itself is very true to our own history of medieval times. Secondarily, we'll be talking about the race called Khajiit, and how they are treated in the Skyrim society. Khajiits are a cat race from Elsewhere, and the Khajiits you meet in Skyrim are mostly merchants, as they have come here to make gold and become rich, which can be hard in their own homeland.
Yes? The Khajiit hail from a distant land called Elsewhere, bordered on the north by Cyrodiil. and the south by the glistening blue waters of the sea. Elsewhere is an arid land of deserts and rocky canyons, where the sun shines warmly, always. There are cities so ancient, the sands have swallowed them whole. But now I will say no more, for I miss my home greatly. An astute question, for we are far from home, and this is a cold, hard land. The wise trader finds the best opportunities, even if he must travel far to find them. Skyrim is a ripe opportunity indeed. The dragons and the war have scared many other traders away, but for those with courage, there is much profit to be made. May your road lead you to warm sands.
However, it's very, very hard for Khajiits to make a living in Skyrim. Even though they sell very rare wares, usually bought in from elsewhere, they aren't allowed in city walls. There's been several Khajiit thieves and smugglers. This is because Khajiits usually have an easier time being stealthy as they are cats, and make hardly any noise whatsoever. So these thieves and smugglers are really the ones that have created a bad reputation for the entire race in general. However, there are some people that actually do trust the Khajiits, and some even want to join them in their merchant adventures just to see the world.
About the same as everyone else? They're the catfolk of elsewhere. Great warriors, good traders. The way I hear it, elsewhere ain't nothing like Skyrim. It's got tropical forests and dusty badlands. It sounds awful. Yeah, these Khajiit make a living traveling the roads and selling their wares. It's got to be tough. Skyrim's a hard enough land when you've got a roof over your head. Worst thing is, nobody wants them in the cities. Nobody trusts them. Reputation mostly. A lot of Khajiit turn to smuggling and thievery to get by. A few bad apples spoil the bunch. You know how it is. Yeah, it's got to be tough. Worst thing is, nobody wants them in the cities. Nobody trusts them. Matter of fact, I do. They've been fair enough with me, far as I can tell. And a Nord knows a liar when she sees one. Farewell.
Now, even though there are these exceptions like the one I just showed you, Khajiits are generally treated like they're worthless, and if one must trade with them, you'd be considered a traitor to your kin, and also dirty in a way. Unfortunately, this is something you can't change. There are very few Khajiits you can actually help out in the game. So, finally, why do people get treated like this in general, in video games, at all? Well, I feel like the reason games today categorize people, races, ethnicities, is largely because that's how our society operates. People are treated differently depending on where they're from, born, etc. All these games don't have the same kind of categorizing, but it's a human instinct to categorize. It's something we humans just do. Just that we're taught to separate good from bad. We separate us from them. I think this is the biggest reason games do this, because it's human to do so, even if the categorizing itself can be inhumane. The consequences of this are the very things we see in society today. Now, games aren't single-handedly creating the separation amongst people and society, but amongst us gamers, in our society, there are definitely groups of people being treated different than others, such as the people that play on PC and the people that play on console. This is a very common separation that is being created just as we speak. Living conditions for the people in the real world could possibly be worsened, since games can contain segregation that's not accepted in our society. For people like you and me, it can create thoughts such as, these are my people, those are yours. Just as it can create for a group of people to make them feel left out of the society, dismissed, and not cared for. Thanks very much for listening and watching the video. Hopefully I'll get to make another one soon. Bye bye.